Just Cheesy the Podcast, presented by Just Cheesy Productions.
Hi there, I'm your host Fondue.
I'm Cheesy.
In this week's episode, we're talking all about the shapes of cheese.
Ooh.
We're going to talk about truckle.
Truckload.
No, we're talking wheels.
Ooh.
We're talking blocks.
Ooh.
Wedges.
Whoa.
Loaves.
Really?
Logs.
What?
Pyramids.
Okay.
Braids.
Sure.
We're going to talk about a cheese rolling contest.
Yeah.
And we're going to learn about special cheese shapes.
Yay.
And of course, no episode would be complete without our very famous cheesy joke.
Yeah, joke.
Stay tuned for episode 81, Cheesometry,
Cheesometry.
on Just Cheesy, the podcast. So cheesy, according to Wikipedia.org, truckle.
Truckload.
I'm not saying truckload.
You're not?
I'm saying truckle.
Truckle.
Truckle. Truckle.
What's truckle?
A truckle of cheese is a cylindrical wheel of cheese.
Oh.
It's taller than it is wide.
Really?
It's also described as barrel-shaped.
Barrel.
So it's basically a wheel, but it's flat on the top and bottom.
Oh.
And according to libertycheesesteaks.com, this word, truckle, comes from Old English trussel,
Ooh.
which means small wheel.
Okay.
And it's very popular in British and Irish households.
Nice.
And it also says here the most common types are cheddar,
Ooh.
Gouda, blue cheese,
Yum.
and even Stilton.
Yum.
According to this website, a truckle weight is usually around 12 to 5 kilograms,
Whoa.
or that would go up to about 12.5 pounds.
Whoa.
Our most common shaped cheese is round or a cheese wheel.
Nice.
According to chucklingcheese.co.uk,
Chuck E. Cheese.
no, not Chuck E. Cheese, chuckling cheese.
Oh.
According to this website, a wheel shape made the cheese easier to transport because it could literally be rolled around.
Nice.
It's also a better shape because a hard rind can form on the outside of the cheese.
Ooh.
This gives it a barrier against insects and bacteria.
Oh, good.
Or unwanted bacteria, that is.
Right.
TheDailyMeal.com also agrees that round is a practical shape.
Really?
In fact, data goes back all the way to 7000 BC.
Holy cow.
Where it shows that early cheeses were made from milk stored in round ceramic vessels.
Whoa.
And according to this article, wheel-shaped cheese may have actually predated the wheel.
Holy cow.
They say that wheel-shaped molds are sturdier than rectangles
Okay.
because in a rectangle or square shape, some of the microbes can collect in the corners.
Ew.
And these wheel shapes are usually very large.
Really?
In fact, a wheel of Parmigiano Reggiano costs nearly $3,000 at Williams & Sonoma,
Holy cow.
and it clocks in at 80 pounds.
Whoa.
Here in the U.S., one of the most popular shapes is a block, a square, or a rectangle.
Right.
According to academyofcheese.com, block cheddar or block cheese is typically used in factories who need much larger scale.
Oh.
They talk here about the cheddaring process, which involves stacking blocks of curd by hand,
Wow.
which helps drain the whey. And then the rest of it is carried out in automated machines for block cheeses.
Oh.
And their capacities go up to 15 tons per hour.
Whoa.
They're formed into straight-edge blocks,
Yeah.
which makes cutting easier.
Sure.
And then they're sealed in plastic bags, which stops a rind from forming.
Okay.
And it also prevents weight loss.
Oh.
And that stackability makes it a lot easier to transport and carry to our supermarkets.
Right.
Most of the frequent types of cheese that we see in this configuration is cheddar, Colby,
Ooh.
Monterey Jack.
Yum.
We sometimes see Swiss and mozzarella,
Ooh.
and this makes the cheese very easy to slice or cut into cubes.
Yum.
According to thedailymeal.com, we next talk about wedges of cheese.
Ooh.
Now, typically, this is going to be a cut of cheese because you're going to have those giant wheels or the big truckles of cheese, and you're going to want to break it down into smaller pieces. So you've all seen that at the store, right? Where you've seen a triangle of cheese?
Yeah.
Well, this is what we're talking about.
Oh.
And why would you want it in that shape?
I don't know.
Well, if you have, again, a round cheese or even a square cheese, these cheeses should be cut on the diagonal.
Ooh.
The biggest reason that something should be sliced into a wedge is all about even portion sizes.
Oh.
This way, you ensure you cut that wheel like a pizza.
Ooh.
That way, each of the wedges or slices ensures that no slice is all rind and no slice is all middle.
Nice.
Cheese companies are not a sponsor, but when they are, their ads will go right here. Have you ever wanted to listen to the web?
Yeah,
Well, Newsly makes that possible.
they do.
They're an all-in-one audio super app for iOS and Android.
Super app.
You can listen to trending articles on the web on topics that you choose and get them read to you in a natural human voice.
What kind of topics?
Sports,
Cheese?
tech, business, science.
Cheese?
I'm sure there's even cheese.
Yay!
They even have an entire section for podcasts.
Are we there?
Of course we are.
Ooh.
It's one of my new favorite podcast apps. They even have digital radio.
Holy cow.
Just go to www.newsly.me to download it free.
Whoa.
Or use the link in the description. If you use the promo code CHEESY, that'll get you 1 month free premium subscription.
Yay, Newsly.
Now, back to the podcast. According to SchulzbergCreamery.com, they have a whole section that you can buy whole loaves of cheese.
Loaves.
If you've ever been to a deli counter,
Yeah.
you've most likely encountered a whole loaf or a whole horn of cheese.
Horn.
The whole loaf is square.
Okay.
It looks like it's about 1.5 feet long.
Whoa.
And it would be sliced at a deli counter.
Oh.
The horn is round and about 1.5 feet long, and it also would be sliced.
Got it.
One of the most popular loaves of cheese is actually Velveeta.
Ooh, yeah.
And that's something you would use at home with your own slicer.
Yeah.
FoodNetwork.com has a couple of recipes for cheese logs.
Dogs.
Most of the cheese logs I've encountered have been a cheese and cracker sort of situation. You've got cream cheese,
Yum.
some flavorings. It's then shaped into a log.
Ooh.
It's then rolled in either chopped nuts,
Ooh.
parsley, paprika, something to give it a decorative outer coating.
Yummy.
I don't know about you, Cheesy, but I
Yeah?
personally have never encountered a pyramid-shaped cheese.
Nope.
According to ConnexionFrance.com, Napoleon has something to do with a truncated pyramid of cheese.
Whoa.
The cheese called Valençay
Oh, no.
is a goat cheese.
Sure it is.
And there are a couple of different stories that go along with this cheese.
Really?
As the story goes, this is a fresh cheese with a nutty taste covered by a layer of gray, ashy rind.
Ooh.
Originally, the cheese was in the shape of a pyramid.
Oh.
But in the early 1800s, France and Napoleon had just suffered a defeat in Egypt.
Oh, boy.
Around this time, the French leader went to visit a leading French clergyman and diplomat.
Okay.
Talleyrand, he was known for his ability to survive at the top levels of power.
Ooh.
So it is suggested that he actually cut the tops off of all of the cheese pyramids so as not to remind Napoleon of his defeat in Egypt.
Smart.
But the second story goes, according to Cheese.com, that Napoleon himself was the one who actually decapitated the pyramid. When he went to the castle, he saw the cheese, and in a fit of rage, he drew his sword and cut the top off of the cheese.
Aw.
And ever since, the cheese has been made with a flat top.
Wow.
According to Wikipedia.com, there's another type of cheese called braided cheese. So braided cheese is usually a dairy product made of strips of highly elastic cheese, and they're wound together in a braid.
Ooh.
This type of cheese is typically seen in Kurdistan, Turkey, Armenia, Israel, Lebanon, Syria, and many Latin American countries.
Whoa.
It's time for my favorite segment.
This week in cheese.
Every year around this time, Cooper's Hill hosts a worldwide competition.
Ooh.
We've discussed it in Season 1, Episode 20, Season 2, Episode 4, and Season 2, Episode 15. This is the world-famous cheese rolling contest.
Oh, yeah.
And by gosh, I think they should call this a people rolling contest.
Yeah.
According to the bbc.co.uk, this event is so dangerous that it's starting to strain emergency services of the area.
Holy cow.
Essentially, participants race down a 200-yard hill,
Whoa.
which is very steep.
Yeah.
What they're racing is a wheel of cheese.
Oh, boy.
It's said that this race has been going on for about 600 years.
Whoa.
This year, 6 people were taken to the hospital. 6.
Holy cow.
A 19-year-old from Canada named Delaney Irving won the women's part of the race.
Nice.
But did you know she was not conscious when she went past the finish line?
Oh, no.
That's right. Delaney hurled herself down the hill, and she said, and I quote, "I thought if I tried to catch myself, I'd probably break a wrist.
Oh, man.
So I thought, just try to roll down that hill."
Oh, wow.
That was my only thought going into the race, and it seemed to work out.
Yeah.
It did apparently work.
Yeah.
And she did not have to go to the hospital, even though she was passed out for a few minutes at the end.
Oh, my.
Congratulations, and we're glad you're safe.
Yeah.
We wanted to give you an opportunity to do some shopping again this week,
Ooh.
and we've got VernsCheese.com. This particular website sells cheese in various shapes.
Yum.
They have a beer mug-shaped cheese,
Ooh.
a cow-shaped cheese, a football-shaped cheese, and a
Whoa.
Wisconsin-shaped cheese, which looks like an oven mitt. So
Wow.
if you weren't from Wisconsin, you could still enjoy this piece of cheese.
Yeah.
All of them are under $8.
I'm ready for a joke, Fondue.
Okay, here goes. Why did the cheese throw a party for all the different shapes?
I don't know.
Because it wanted to have a wheelie Gouda time.
Oh, man, that's so
Get it?
silly.
Wheelie Gouda?
Yeah, I got it.
I know it's silly,
Yeah.
but it's also a little bit cheesy. Thanks for listening to Just Cheesy the Podcast, episode 81.
Thank you.
Cheesometry.
Cheesometry.
Please listen to some of our back episodes, catch up with us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Stay cheesy, everybody.